Now, let's learn about moths. Moths, as you saw, are a very large, a very diverse group within the Lepidoptera. So, to bring moths to you, we decided to take another approach. We are just going to speak about a few prominent families with a few examples. We won't even go down to every species name. Many moths don't even have common names. So let's explore this world of moths at least a little bit. The first family that we'll look at is emperor and silk moths. These are large moths. They do not have proboscis. They do not feed in the adult stage. Some of them may have tails. Let's look at a few examples. Lunar moth. You have seen this one before. Look at those beautiful feathery antennae. Silk moths also belong to this family. Atlas moth, the largest moth in the world. Look at this photograph here where you can get a sense of the size. From wingtip to wingtip, it can be as large as a grown man's hand. Next one, the family of hawk moths. These are also large moths, may not be as large as the emperor moth family. Many of them have a jet plane shape. The overall shape looks like, the way the wings are, look like the wings of a jet plane. They love feeding on nectar. Let's look at a few examples. Oleander hawk moth. Look at how the wings are. It does remind you of a jet plane, doesn't it? Death's head hawk moth. This moth also feeds from honey of beehives. It gets its name because of this head-like, skull-like marking on the top of its head. Death's head hawk moth. Next one, elephant hawk moth. If someone ever tells you that moths are boring or drab looking, you must show them this photograph. Hummingbird hawk moth, a very fast flying moth, also an example of one of the day flying moths. Look at that long proboscis. Proboscis of mainly hawk moths can be sometimes more than 3 times the length of its body. Next one is the family Geometer moths. This family gets its name because of its caterpillar. If you look at the caterpillar, it has limbs in the front and some appendages behind, but there is nothing in between. So when it has to move, it moves, like say if this is the branch, it will move like this. You see? You know what I mean? It looks as if it is measuring the earth. I don't know. But because of this, they are called inchworms or geometer moths. They are usually small, sometimes medium in size. When they are sitting, all their 4 wings are visible and they hold their antennae along the top edge of the wing. Let's look at a few pictures. Look at this geometer moth. You can see all the 4 wings clearly and see how the antennae are placed, right? These are the antennae here, and these white protrusions here are the first pair of legs. Next example. Here also you can see that the antennae here is almost tucked inside. Actually, because of the way it holds its antennae, like here in the white moth example, you may not even be able to see the antennae when the moth is resting. All right, next one. the tiger or the footman moths. This is a very large and a very diverse family of moths. They can be medium or small. Some are like a shape of a foot when they are resting. They are usually very brightly colored, which, as you know, is a warning sign that, hey, I'm foul and bad tasting. You must have seen those hairy, woolly caterpillars. Most of those caterpillars belong to species of moths of this family. Let's look at a few examples. Look at this beautiful tiger moth. And this one? Look at these. Over here in this yellow one, you can actually see what they mean by the foot shape, right? This could be where the toes are, and this is where the heel is. Somewhat like that. The footman moth. One more example. Beautiful, with red and black spots on the white body. Next one is the family of owl moths. These are a family of medium to large moths. May not be as large as some of your emperor moths, but they have eye-like prominent markings on their wings, like over here as you can see. It is said that they have developed these markings as part of fooling the predator again. They try to look like the head of a big owl or a big creature. Next one is the grass moths. The grass moths are tiny, but you come across them very, very often. These ones hold their antennae along their body. Let's look at it in a few photographs. See over here, you can clearly see that the antennae are held along the length of the body. Another example with the antennae looking behind. Look at that furry snout. Look at the beautiful stripes. Now, the last family of moths that we want to introduce to you, they are called the bagworm moths. In this family, it is more interesting to look at the caterpillar stage than the adult stage. Look at these, especially this photograph. Can you see this collection of the thorns of the same plant? The caterpillar has collected one thorn after the other and with its own silk made a little case or what we call a bag out of these thorns, and then it lives in the safety of this case. That's why these are called bagworms or caseworm moths. Here, this specimen has used some twigs. In many species of bagworm, the moths may fly out as adults, but in some, especially the females, retain the larval form, the caterpillar form, and live its entire life inside the bag. This is where the male moth will come and mate with her. Inside it itself is where she will lay eggs, she will die out, and the eggs will hatch inside the case. What an interesting story, isn't it? So this is all for family of moths. This is a great start for someone who's just about starting learning about moths. As you start watching moths and when you see moths that are outside this group of, the families that have been introduced to you, it will strike you as different and you will be prompted to go out and find the identification, at least again till the family level, if not each individual species. So I hope you're excited to look for moths also. Do stay up some nights. See what comes to the light of your house. Let's look at what threatens this group of insects. Many of this you're already familiar with. They are a prey to many species of birds and animals. Here, as you can see, a bird that has caught a caterpillar. Even Adult, especially moths, get hunted by bats. They are both night flying, and the bat has a special technique of hunting insects in the darkness of the night. The bat sends out voice signal sounds. These sounds travel and hit the prey. Then this sound echoes back. You know what an echo is? Sometimes when you are in a large, old, empty building, or sometimes on the viewpoint of hill stations where you can shout out and your voice comes back. They call it the echo point or the echo point. So that's an echo. That is the same concept the bat uses. And when its sound hits a flying insect, that sound gets reflected back. By hearing the echo, the bat can judge how far the insect is. Is the insect flying towards it or away from it? It can tell all that and accordingly plan the way it should move to be able to hunt the insect. Moths are a large part of the diet of these insectivorous bats. Parasites. You've already seen this example where parasitic wasps, for example, come and paralyze different caterpillars and they lay their eggs inside their body. In this particular photograph, you can even see the holes from which the larvae of the wasps have left the body of the caterpillar after probably feeding all through the inside of the caterpillar. After coming out, the larvae wasps have built cocoons and they are all gathered here. Once they are ready, they will fly out as adults from these balls of cocoons. These are all, however, natural threats, right? One more of them is the cordyceps. It's a fungal parasite. So this particular type of fungi called the cordyceps fungi attacks caterpillars and actually even other insects. But in this case, the caterpillars of the ghost moths. These caterpillars of the ghost moths live inside the ground. The fungi seeks them out and attacks them and starts growing on the body of the caterpillar. That's why the fungi even gets the shape of the caterpillar. This brown thing that you are seeing is the shoot that the fungi sends outside the ground. There are lots of people who collect these cordyceps. They are sold at a very high value in the natural medicines. They are sold at a very high value for its medicinal properties. In Chinese medicines and even some other medicines, they are of great importance. Many people, especially in many parts of Himalayas, do this as a job seasonally when it's time for the cordyceps fungi. It's usually monsoons, I think. Anyway, so these are all still natural. All these, one eating the other, mostly maintains the balance of the population of insects on our planet. The real problem comes when we interfere. You've already seen these photographs many times before. Urbanization, development, agriculture, pesticides, artificial night lights, and you know it well now that how all of this affects large populations and diversity of insects. So that's it for now. I hope this is enough of a good base for you to start building your knowledge and start to explore what's around your house. A way I have found very useful to learn about butterflies and moths is note making. Do you remember that wonderful presentation by Abhisheka earlier in the course? Writing down your observations, drawing the butterfly or the moth. You don't need to be an artist. Even roughly, what colors are where, how is the pattern, how is it sitting, on which flower did you see it visiting or laying its egg on, which plant did you see it, laying its egg on. This whole process of note making works wonderfully to remember different butterflies and moths. Of course, you also have the option of photography nowadays, which is a much quicker process of documenting what you've seen. But I still feel to remember note making is far more useful. Anyway, it's up to you, but so long as you start getting out and start looking out for what's around. So, thank you again for watching one more session. We hope you're enjoying this course and keep up your good work.